Sunrise Extra. Wednesday. We are talking work because the country of Portugal just made some new work-life balance laws, and among them it said your boss cannot contact you on your off hours.
Yes.
When you're off, you're off.
But yes, I mean no.
Yes.
Can't do it.
Does this include if you're taking, a potty break? Can't talk to me in the bathroom. I'm off right now.
Man,
During your off hours.
I think that set a record for how quickly we went south.
Yes,
Sunrise
we went
Extra
to
episode.
potty quite quickly.
All right, okay, all right.
1 minute is all it
Less
took.
than, yeah.
I mean,
so we're asking, do you struggle to disconnect when you're not at work? How often are you checking emails? We know he doesn't check emails. He's always the last to know any news.
I like that, man. I like being the last.
do?
I like that about me.
I
That
don't want
works
to be
for
in
me.
the dark about like important stuff.
Define important. Very few things in life are important when it's all said and done.
Your 401k switches and all that kind of stuff when that was first announced.
He's talking about work
important
emails that may
things.
be important to you.
Yes.
Is what she's
Yeah.
referring to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He waits for people to just tell him in person what needs to be done.
He literally asks, what did I miss while I was gone?
But some people really want to be in tune. This is a memory of mine. You remember when Mr. Obama announced on live television that U.S. Special Forces had captured Osama bin Laden?
I remember where I was.
And I just happened to had the TV on, and I happened to have it on CNN that night, and there was a quick, something big is coming. And I could tell. This wasn't your typical breaking news. This was something urgent.
Yeah.
So I kind of stayed around, and then Mr. Obama came on and made the announcement, and I thought to myself, now that's breaking news.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something I wanted to know as soon as I could, as quick to when it actually happened as possible.
And you were starving for more information.
But my point is, most things in life,
They can wait.
I don't need to know about it in the 24-hour cycle. Most things in life just don't qualify for that.
Do you remember what night of the week that was?
I want to say it was a Sunday.
You're right, it was
Is
a
that right?
Sunday. Yep.
Yeah.
How do you know stuff?
Well, I was in San Diego watching Sunday Night Baseball. The Phillies happened to be playing that night against the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball, and they broke into that game with the news. I mean, I'll never forget that.
Well,
But so now you guys, do you have company phones?
this is work phone. This is my personal phone.
So you have a company phone. I don't have a company phone. I said no, thanks. I don't need that. So I also don't have my KGW email on my phone, and that's by design.
Yeah, because
I
they
don't
do want
need to
certain
look
access
at a
when you
KGW
do that.
email when I'm not in the KGW building.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Rebel without a
So
cause.
that's by design. So,
And that it works better for the niche department that you're in of weather, like versus there's been a shooting or like we need you in the building.
I
or
keep
something.
track of my
And when there's weather,
field. We talked about unplugging, but those who follow me on my KGW Ride Hill Facebook page know for a fact if it's Saturday and I'm off, but Saturday's a big storm day and I'm in town, I spend much of my Saturday at home updating my feed.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. Right. That's my thing.
And that's, I think, a lot of the point is like it's, if you're already interested in it, even personally or just for a life thing, like you're going to check it. I like to keep a tidier email inbox because we just get so many dang emails, like I'm sure all of you guys. And so every morning, that's just one of my things is I go in, delete, clean it out. And then I feel like, okay.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I take it to another weirder step when I close out two things. Number one, we always make fun of you for not checking your email, Rod. But nobody at KGW really cares for his Facebook page better than Rod.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not checking his work email.
That's why he has a lot
It's
of
not
followers.
happening. But if you send him a message on Facebook, he'll see it. So I will give you credit for that. That's where you spend your time.
I figure all this other work stuff, it'll get to me sooner or later, and I'll get caught up.
Secondly, when I close out of my inbox, I always want to make sure that the number of emails in my inbox when I leave
or unread?
No, total.
Oh, okay.
Has either a 0 or a 5 at the end. And I've got I know it makes no sense, but I've got my inbox.
Like it could be 150, and that's
how many
fine.
total
but
emails do you think are in your
152,
inbox right now?
2,000.
I've cut mine down to
crazy.
250.
Wow, that's
I'm
great.
constantly deleting.
Yeah.
I don't want it in there if I don't need it.
Yeah.
But I always make sure that number either ends in a
That's
0, like
very
250
OCD.
or 255 or 360, whatever. It's very weird, but it keeps me like.
Do you
Otherwise,
know that like about yourself? Like that is a very
it's
that is a light switch flipping 10 times OCD thing.
It probably needs attention.
It probably, yeah. So Brittany.
That's interesting, though.
People chiming in. Brittany says, I have such a hard time disconnecting. If I see an email come through or a Skype, etc., I will always have to check it. I just realized a few days ago, actually, I need to stop doing that. When I'm home, I should be present and enjoying my home time off, which is the point of all this, right? Work will be there the next business day. Or as I say, in the next 30 days, I'll catch up at some point. But anyway, that's Brittany. So that's perfectly stated what the point of all this is.
Yeah.
You should be able to relax mentally when you're home and be totally away from it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people's jobs like this, there is not a clear separation. Like I have friends who are realtors, and your whole weekend is showing people how, especially in this market, showing people houses, responding to messages, because that's how you get paid.
Right. Yeah.
You have to work to get a commission, and other funky jobs where what I like about our job is typically you can, once you leave work, you're done for the day, and I love that because you and I are both terrible time management and dawdlers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when we sit right next to each other, and we'll find any excuse to be like, hey, some stupid comment, that I'm like, we don't really want to.
I need to do this.
I need
but
to
I should probably tell you about this other
and
thing.
so I work so much better when Drew is not here. Like I am on task, and because I just don't have anyone distracting me, and vice versa, I'm sure. But I do love jobs where like you can just be done with that project at the end of the day. And that's getting worse for us, I guess, as we do these longer
But I wonder,
series.
Stanford Walker says, Portugal is so correct in this area, USA should make it a law as well. But it got me thinking, I don't know of any examples in my own personal life or even that my friends have ever brought up of work being intrusive in that manner. I mean, it's not like, I just don't know of any examples. I really don't. I mean, occasionally in this job, I'll get a message coming in on Sunday that I will happen to see, or somebody will call me if something pops up. But that's what I do for a living, and I need to know before I get in here on Monday morning if there's something that happens Sunday that I'm going to have to cover, because I'll have to come in earlier if I know that. So, but as far as just work being intrusive, I don't know really.
That's good for you because there's a lot of people where it is.
Right.
I can't. You got a big project coming up, or a presentation, or like and you're working through the weekend. I mean, we went on vacation with another couple a while back, and she was, she's like, I got to go on a team call because 5 days after I get back, we have a big presentation to give and.
No, my wife, I mean, her boss, he does not make it a habit of it. If you're watching, Scott, I'm not saying you're a bad boss. I think my wife has a nice boss. But, he has called her and texted her after hours. Not a lot again, but sometimes, like you said, if something's coming up tomorrow, big thing at work, and they need to chat before it happens, she may get that call or that text. And when we did the story this morning on the Sunrise TV show, I think the laws that were set forth in Portugal were really supposed to help people who are now working from home. That whole shift has happened because of the pandemic. More people working from home.
You should still have a defined work day.
Some of those people have found it difficult to turn off the work. Now the work's always in front of them. They can never really stop it. And I have seen that with my wife, who does most of her work now from home. The work day is longer.
I will say.
Is she doing it in a designated like an office?
She is.
Okay.
She's good about that.
But she's working a lot.
Yeah, and the more people they lose, like her company, like everyone else's company, is losing employees. And they're, people are just walking away from their jobs, and so she's having to take on more responsibility.
I feel like kudos go out to our bosses, and tell me if you guys agree, but I remember Mr. Carter and then Greg, who's our news director, Mr. Carter is our GM, that they went out of their way to say, you still need to take breaks. Don't unplug. You're not, because you're at home working doesn't mean you should be working the entire time. I feel like they really remind us this is still your work day. You need to unplug. You need to take breaks. It's not like you'd sit there at your office desk for 8 hours without taking a break and work nonstop. So kudos to them. That was my impression that those words were spoken.
I've never worked in terrible working conditions, really, so I can't speak to that, but I'm sure others have, like where they feel like they're just not being respected, or they're being maybe their hours are being abused to some degree. In fact, our boss has told me at least a few times, like, take that day off. And I'm like, no, we have to get this, and this done. He goes, we'll survive without you. And like, I don't, that doesn't sit well with me sometimes. I'm like, no, I don't want you to survive without me.
I want to be needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Kim Tannehill the one from your cornucopia?
Yes, Kim on there.
She's always followed. She's a loyal YouTube Sunrise Extra. First, she was wondering, hey, where can I see the cornucopia segment? I hope you watched it on the news this morning. We had wonderful compliments for you. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's up on KGW.com
really nice.
right now. You can check it out. She also says,
I know her recipe's up right now. I don't know if the video is, but the video's going to get there
It
this
will be
morning for
soon,
sure.
Kim. I'll keep him on task for that. She says, so at least in auto dealerships, service workers are required to download an app that makes them accessible to customers at all times, and you have to respond because you can't risk a bad survey cutting your paycheck in half.
That sounds like a problem. That sounds like that's something that this Portugal law is purposely trying to address.
You may not realize this, Rob, but I'm pretty sure, Nina, you can confirm for me. I think that our staff, for the most part, is expected to have their phones at the ready because when people call in sick, you know, if Brenda got sick and wasn't able to make the Sunrise show tomorrow, they may need to call someone in, and I wasn't working, my phone was off, is not an excuse. Am I right about that?
Well, I mean, I think they go to the next person, you know, like if, you know, you can't be punished for not answering your phone on a day off.
Down the line.
I mean, unless...
I do remember having, when I worked at Channel 2, we had a person on the weather staff that would call in sick a lot. And it was Super Bowl Sunday.
This story probably goes better.
And I'm not going to name any. I'm not going to name any.
It's easier to
But this
follow
person
with
would call in
me.
sick a lot. So I get called like Super Bowl Sunday morning or sometime Sunday. And I see who it is.
Who, the boss?
I just ignore it.
Yep.
And then I just let it go. And then the next day the boss calls me. We're trying to get a hold of you all day, Rod. You know, we almost didn't have a weather because so-and-so called in sick. And I looked, I said, did you see this person go to the hospital in like an ambulance or anything? Because unless you have video, that's exactly what I said. I said, I called this person out. I said, I'm not going to miss my Super Bowl because odds are very high that this person decided they wanted to watch the Super Bowl.
Right.
And it was their day to work. And I was mad. And the boss let it go, to his credit. Because I called it like I saw it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I hear you on that. Unless this person was really in a situation, it speaks that you would have to miss the Super Bowl.
Give me the
because
doctor on the phone.
Wants to see the Super Bowl, if that was the case. I get you. Well played, Mr. Hill.
Then there's my favorite text from our old boss. I'm going to give Rick Jacobs, our old news director.
Yep.
Rick won't mind this. You guys remember this. It was several years back. Was it 2017? The January storm, and the forecast, I think, for most, if not all forecasters in town, was for like 4 to 5 inches of snow. Well, we had like 8 inches by midnight that night, and that was a storm that produced like 15 inches of Pittock Mansion, and we had a foot all over the place. So
is that when the traffic gridlock?
It was late evening,
like
and
3 p.m.
my
happened?
phone is ringing. Yeah, and then I'm in bed because I'm doing the mornings, and my wife looks at my phone and she reads a text, and she goes, "Honey, wake up! There's like snowing outside." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's snowing, honey." She's like, "No, it's really snowing." Well, it was a storm that produced 2-3 times what it was supposed to. So Jacobs texted me at like 11 o'clock at night, and he goes, and by this time it was already like 8 inches. He's like, and the text said, 4 inches my ass. And you could just tell that's the way he meant it to be read. And my wife read this to me. I think your boss is angry, honey. You better get up and get,
he's just
going.
Yeah.
No, I think he was mad. So anyway, but that's my favorite text all time from a boss.
I like it.
Get in here.
My favorite line of yours is if the boss says that to you, hey, you predicted 4 inches. We got 8. What the hell? Heck. Who knows what the boss might say? And you go, well, we did get 4 inches.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
We got another 4 inches.
Well, we 4 inches all over the place. But that was funny. So clear, because the news department wasn't prepared for as big of a storm because of the faulty forecast that we picked up, and a lot of people were in the same boat. But that was his way, I think, of telling me I need to get my butt in here early.
Willie Huey is trying to guess the name of the weather person who was constantly calling out. But I'll tell you, the person you mentioned, Willie, I know you don't. But the person you're thinking of was still here at Channel 8 when Rod was over there at Channel 2. So not that guy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, wait a second, you're giving it away. Oh,
as long as we're calling out people on the stream there. Come on, Willie.
I have seen there was somebody that works in the restaurant business. I've seen several people comment that, it's kind of the career or the path that they chose. In some jobs, you just are required to kind of be. It comes with the territory. Yeah.
I would love to work from home. I had a cold earlier this year. And it wasn't bad enough where, like, I was gross, and so, nobody would want me at work. But, like, I had stories that were slated to air on certain days, and I had to get them done. And so I had my work computer at home, and so instead of taking sick time, I just worked from home, and they let me do that. So obviously I wasn't anchoring the show. Yeah. But it was I always thought like I would be terrible at this because I am such a dawdler,
Yeah.
and I'll find 10 other stupid things to do instead of the one
Laundry,
important thing
whatever.
I need to do. But it was awesome to be able to, I'm gonna just throw a thing of laundry in and then that's done, and then work. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of thirsty. I'm gonna get some tea because I feel sick. And then make some tea and bring it back to the computer. Okay, I got my stuff. And work. There was nobody there to bother me. The kids at school, the husband's at work. And I worked better because I didn't have all these distractions.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure. But don't you think part of the reason that was a good day for you, or good days, was because you didn't have to do all the makeup and the hair and the dress either? I mean, you could really just get into the work from home spirit.
Yeah, writing and all that stuff. Sure, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But just to be able to get like little things done
No, I hear
in
you.
between, you get up and take the trash out or whatever.
What was I totally remote for about 6 months? It was basically from March through
maybe longer.
September, and I probably put out more stuff on social during that stretch than ever because of what you're saying. I just really got into my little zone. I like my office room at the house.
Yeah.
And it's very comfortable. And Kristen Downey says, this is one of the ones I was talking about. To be honest, my family works in the restaurant industry. Our bosses know that we have busy lives and limited hours. They contact us because they know we're reliable and dedicated to our work. They wouldn't call us if they didn't have a need. If the other employees in the same position would stop calling out and no showing without communicating, for whatever reason, these circumstances wouldn't arise. It'd be interesting to see how the Portugal law addresses that, because obviously, depending on the industry, there's some industries where you lose one person on the assembly line, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And really, it's not that big a deal from my chair. If one of you guys is out, they just go 2 anchors instead of 3.
Sure.
But like, I have to be replaced. They have to call Chris McGinnis in the middle of the night to get him in.
You are irreplaceable.
I mean, well, there has to be a weather person. There's not 2 of us scheduled on the ship, there's just 1. So I wonder how that law will address that.
Right.
Because there's some industries where if you're not
have
there,
to have
somebody
that
else
person.
has to be there in that role.
Yeah.
Man, I remember years ago here, I called, I don't call in sick, right? You guys have worked with me long enough to know that I don't call in sick. And I actually had, knock on wood, I haven't been sick, even a sniffle, in several years. It's really good.
It is pretty amazing.
But there was a time, and I'm going back probably 10 years, I was still doing the out and about segments. Someone who no longer works here was on our assignment desk, and I decided, you know what, I don't feel good enough to work today. Like and I worked a later shift that day. And I remember the story that I was supposed to cover was Cirque du Soleil. So this is not breaking news. Yeah. This was like Cirque du Soleil was in town. I was supposed to go interview somebody. And I called in at around 10 o'clock. I was like, I don't feel well. I'm not coming in today. I do have this thing that we're supposed to do. Maybe someone else can cover it. And the person who took the call said, how sick are you? And I was like, immediately I get mad.
They're not supposed to say that, I don't think. Yeah.
Because we don't have anyone else to do this. How sick are you?
I've gotten that same response.
And I lost it on him. I did. I said, really, dude? I said, how many times have I called in sick? I do it this time. You're actually going to question how sick. Raise my voice. Okay, calm down. I was just asking. Don't ask again. Bam.
Yeah. I think they're not supposed to do that, right?
No,
I mean, the bottom line for us is
one of those exact same responses.
I think
before.
most companies, you have X amount of either paid sick days at your disposal, or ours are all rolled into the same bundle, paid time off period, be it sick leave or vacation. But as long as you're within those boundaries, I don't think there's supposed to be any questions.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, it was maybe late in the day. Maybe I was supposed to come in at 1 that day and it was 10 o'clock. I mean, whatever, regardless, I knew that, I don't do this enough for you to even ask that question. Like, take me at my word. This is the one time.
And I'm kind of the same way. I may or may not call. Honestly, usually I'll call in sick at least once a year. I don't think I have this year.
I don't think you have either.
Because usually at the end of the year, I'm like, gee, I haven't called in sick at all.
That was a game changer for us. Now we're getting completely off topic. But when this thing happened to me on the phone, we did not have the PTO time. It was separate, sick and vacation. So I always had sick days at the end of the year that I never used. But now that it's all bunched together, Rod and I sort of had this thing going on. Like, we're always checking.
You guys are in competition.
How many vacation days you got left?
Yeah. We always feel like we're
PTO
winning
days
if we have more vacation to spend in December.
You're sick.
We get the same amount of days, the 2 of us.
I wonder if this conversation is totally different though for managers who instead of the worker bees, because managers, you have to put out fires. Like that is your job.
Absolutely.
And if you manage a location of a store, or you're a news director, or you're any kind of manager, I mean, people are calling in sick to you maybe on your day off, but it's their working day.
Right.
And so I don't know how that would work. I mean, you have to be on call and know what's going on.
Most of us just want to feel like we're not being taken advantage of.
Sure.
Right? I mean, we get it that things come up and you may get thrown a curveball every now and then, but I think most of us just want to feel respected and they were not being taken advantage of.
Sure.
And I've been blessed in my job, for the most part, that has been the case.
Yeah. That's why I think it's like this law may be going like a little far. It's illegal for your boss just for someone to call you like at 6 p.m.
And they said there are
after
exceptions
5
to the law.
p.m.
Like there's,
Yeah.
there's more to the wording. That was sort of like the first line of the law, and then there are exceptions. I don't know all the exceptions that come with it, but there is this idea that yes, you can be fined heavily as a company if you do this thing where you call people off their work hours.
Like I feel, America we got problems, and we, are pushed to work longer hours. But I mean, you think of like Japan, or I don't know what it's like in Korea
Similar.
or China, where I mean they are literally killing themselves working.
It's a different
and to
culture
get ahead.
for
Yeah.
them. I mean, they would rather, honestly, study mathematics for 4 hours and watch the football game. Now, at the end of the day, they do. I mean, a lot of them do
kick
better
our
on
butts
tests
on
than some
stuff.
of us,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So, but it's a different culture. That
Yeah.
is.
We're not going to bother Brenda Braxton because she is on special assignment. So we won't be calling Brenda.
She's
Brenda,
working.
you're free to do your thing because I think you're doing the Today Show
Yep.
cut-ins today.
So we got to
Yes,
go,
we
you
gotta
guys.
roll.
Thanks for weighing in. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.